let's take a look at Tedertainment Tonight. What do you guys got?
I got one real quick. This is a big movie I've been waiting for, man, for like a year to see. Have either of you guys seen it? Killers of the Flower Moon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So that was a big purchase. Like, we rented it. What Matt did with Barbie movie, $20 rental on Christmas Day. We watched it. It kind of reminded me of The Irishman, which I believe is also a Scorsese movie.
It is.
Where it was good, but my God, it's long. It felt like it was like the movie felt like it was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Like it felt like a marathon to get through it. There's a lot of good scenes. Like the premise of it is awesome. How they ended it with this little like live interpretation of the story was kind of a fun little ending. I just thought it was like it left a little bit to be desired. It felt like the premise, Scorsese, DiCaprio, De Niro. I'll say he was probably the best actor in that film. He was great. I loved him in that movie. The whole premise of Native Americans striking oil and basically Leonardo DiCaprio, De Niro trying to basically take it from him. It felt like it was a home run, like A+, going to be an awesome movie, and it still was a good movie, but I felt like it just left a little bit to be desired. Like. It was like almost like and this is a big Scorsese thing, I feel like, where it's like every character is like some famous actor. Like at one point they have like Brendan Fraser pop up, and it's just like it's like almost felt like it was like a comedy sketch, like all these new there's that guy, and it like takes you out of the movie,
right?
And it's like for like 2 hours we're kind of plotting this story, going over like 15 different individual moments where it's like I think we got the premise after about 5 of those moments. Right. So, like, I don't think we needed 3.5 hours to tell this story, or at least to tell it how they told it. I don't know. I'll be curious. Like, I saw the ratings on like Rotten Tomatoes, like a 95%. Like I said, I would give it a thumb up, but like I was expecting to be blown away, and it still was awesome. Like the visuals, it still was awesome, but it just left a little bit to be desired. So I was a little bit depressed after I watched that one. I mean, it's never good when it's like you're like basically slapping yourself awake to like finish the movie. Like you should be like hanging on your every last word, like if a movie is really, really good. So it didn't reach my expectations, but maybe my expectations were just too high.
Yeah, when you see the director and all the actors in it, you expect to just be absolutely blown away, which, I've seen people with similar reviews. Very good, of course, probably going to win a bunch of awards, great movie, but almost like, why did it have to be so long? It's almost like you're treating the viewers almost in a sense like they're stupid. Like you almost are like, we have to explain everything to them. And like you said, almost like over too much, like to an extent, like we get it. You know what I mean? Like just, hit the plot points, move on. And in 2.5 hours, wrap it up. And, we'll enjoy it. When you start going too long, then it is like you start getting lost in the movie.
Well, so, you guys are both in the business of editing. And you got to edit something like that, right?
That's your best quote. You always say that about one of my uncle makes like family home videos. He has no edit button. Scorsese is the definition of has no edit button. Like, there's no way you get through it in one sitting unless you start at like 8 a.m. with a cup of coffee in your hand. I think you got a mid movie nap whenever you do watch it.
Should have an intermission like some of those old movies used to have.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying that the director's cut of that movie is like 4.5 hours long, probably?
That's probably.
Seriously, it felt just like The Irishman. Like, I mean, like we're like, it's a good movie. Like, there's good parts, but why is it so goddamn long?
Right.
Like, you just
I saw some people say like movies like Lord of the Rings that are like 3.5 hours long, different because there's battle scenes. There's a ton of action that keep you like going. When it's one of these kind of like epic movies, it's just very deep and, thought-provoking. It is almost like exhausting watching. I do still want to watch it, but again,
it's worth watch.
3.5 hours long or whatever. It is like, man, when am I going to carve out 3.5 hours to watch this thing?
And it's like, I don't know. Like I'm making fun of Scorsese here. Obviously I'm no filmmaker. Like I hated how it was done. Where it felt like it was so like choppy. Like it felt like all the scenes were like really short. And like not much substance. Like we're just jumping. Whereas like you got like Jesse Plemons, famously for Friday Night Lights. He's like kind of the detective in this movie. It's like there's a great like interrogation scene with him and DiCaprio, and it's like let's just let this breathe. Like if you're gonna make a long movie, like let's just have this interrogation for like 10 minutes. Like 2 minutes, we're on to the next thing. It's like I don't know. You have these great actors, DiCaprio, good performance, De Niro, good performance. Like just let it like breathe a little bit. It just was like we were cramming in too many stupid things that didn't really matter. Like once we saw it a few times, like we get what's happening here. So
How
I just
about
wish it would've been fleshed out more, though.
How about DiCaprio's wife in the movie, Jared? I just saw she won a Golden Globe for her role. How was she?
Yeah, I mean, good. I wouldn't say I was necessarily blown away, but she was good.
Okay.
Her character kind of confused me. I don't know. Like you guys will see. I don't want to spoil it. It's not even out on DVD yet. But how her character was written, it was like I don't know. She was like just like not like they made her like, but probably on purpose. Like she was not the brightest.
Right.
And you're just like, what the heck? Like, how are you not catching on to this? Like, so we'll see. She was good. I wasn't like, oh, she was horrible. I feel like that was a deserving award. Like I thought she did a good job. All the acting was great. Yep. Other than Brendan Fraser. Like you'll see when Brendan Fraser comes to the movie, like, what the F is this guy doing in this movie? I like him, but like, what are we doing? So all the acting was good.
Yeah. I mean, with that lineup, it's hard to think the acting's not going to be good.
Right.
I knocked out a couple things. I know, Ted, maybe you can finish up with yours. Okay. So I did finally get to Bye Bye Barry. This was a couple weeks ago. We haven't done Tedertainment in a couple weeks, but I mean, everything you expect it to be as a Lions fan, especially me, Barry Sanders being my favorite player ever. It just reliving those moments, seeing the highlights, seeing the behind the scenes stuff a little bit, what the franchise was going to, because obviously I was younger then, and Twitter wasn't around, all the news, YouTube and all that wasn't around when he was playing. So you didn't necessarily see, I wasn't reading the newspaper all the time. So you didn't see all the behind the scenes franchise stuff. So it was kind of cool to, see all that, get some of the business of his career. And then I think Jared or one of you guys mentioned it at the cool spin too, was him getting like basically interviewed by his sons. That was a pretty cool spin too. But Barry, even with the interview, he's pretty like, he doesn't open up a ton.
He's boring, man.
You know what I mean? Like his interviews, he's obviously a very professional, nice guy, great person, all that. But it's not like he really totally poured out his feelings on the Lions or, whatever. Maybe he doesn't want to. But just overall, for a football fan, for especially a Lions fan, it's an easy hour and a half watch. You'll love it. I mean, and you'll walk away being like, man, this dude, he's the greatest running back ever. He is the greatest running back ever. I mean, I don't really remember. Ted, you definitely do because you were older during his run. I remember hearing about his dad, but I didn't realize his dad was like that much in the spotlight. Yeah. So that was a new thing for me, knowing his dad was that much in the spotlight.
He pretty much did all his talking for him.
Right.
What do you guys think of, like, here's the thing, like every time we watch a Detroit thing, it's like they interview the same like Detroit celebrities. Yeah. Eminem, Jamel Hill, Jeff Daniels. Like, I mean, I don't even think Eminem knows, like Eminem, like he has one comment where it's like, I think they're doing like this Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders, like,
right.
And it's like, I think the Cowboys, you guys would remember better than I would. Like, didn't they win like, 2 or 3 Super Bowls, like basically right in a row? And he has some comment where he's like, man, imagine if that Cowboys team had like Barry Sanders instead of Emmitt Smith. It's like it's the same exact squad. So
it's cool. Like, it's almost like the Eminem is almost like the shock value, because while I was excited, I didn't know he was in it. His music was really cool. Yeah. But it was almost like, I don't necessarily need to hear Eminem's analysis of Barry Sanders. It was cool. No, right. Tim Allen popped up. It was like, oh, hey, there's Tim Allen. All right. But overall, I'd give it, on our 3-point podcast scale, I'd give it an easy as a Lions Barry Sanders at 2.8 at least. I'd even maybe give it a 3, as a Lions fan.
Have you guys
the
been
second
to a
thing
show?
I watched? Yeah. Go ahead, Jared.
No, one last thing. Have you guys been, like, when they interviewed Barry at the Fox Theater? It looks awesome. I've never been there. I walk by it every day when I work.
Oh, it is awesome.
Game.
It's awesome.
Have you guys both been to a show there? It looks incredible.
I haven't.
I saw Greta Van Fleet there.
Wow. Nice. It looks like one hell of a venue.
It is. It really is. It's very ornate, very old school, and not a bad seat in the house either. It's a nice place to go watch a concert or comedy show or whatever. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm glad they've kept it up,
Yep.
Kept it going, not let it fall apart, because it is also like historic, for downtown Detroit. Definitely one you have to check off. Trying to wrap this up so you can get out of here, Ted, get some meds. I wanted to mention, I watched Leave the World Behind, Julia Roberts' movie on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys have seen the promo or at least seen the pictures.
Yep.
Kind of like a thriller, a psychological thriller type of movie, I guess is maybe what I would call it. But if you want to sit down for an hour and a half or so and watch a movie that's very different and like will get you thinking, and it's really crazy and weird, and like I said, kind of a thriller, a little bit of shock value and stuff, it's definitely there. And it's very weird. It's strange. It's shot very like artistically. It almost looks like an Alfred Hitchcock type of movie, the way it's shot. The camera moves and the angles and everything is really interesting. Julia Roberts obviously is good. But the story, the plot, and the story is really interesting. And I don't want to say too much in case you guys want to watch it, but it's one of those that like there's twists, there's turns. You have to stick into it because you don't know how it's going to play out. Just a really, it's not anything that's going to blow you away. You're not going to say it's a 3.3 on the 3-point podcast scale. But you know, it's one of those hour and a half. You don't have anything to watch, pop it on. It'll keep you engaged. Unlike maybe the 3.5 hour epic that Jared watched that you fall asleep in the middle. This will keep you into it for an hour and a half. And in the end, it'll make you kind of think like, it's one of those that like, what would I do if I was in that situation? Like, it's one of those that makes you think like, it's like an apocalypse type of movie, you know, like if I was put in this scenario, how would we handle it? So
what, without spoiling it, what exactly is the scenario, or is that a spoiler? If it's a spoiler, I guess you don't have to say it, but
no, because if you looked at the synopsis, it would tell you it's like, what's the word? A cyber attack. There's like a cyber attack on the world. They don't know it at first, but then they kind of figure out that it's a cyber attack. You know, all technology goes down, and internet goes down, TV goes down. Right. So that's what I mean. It starts to make you think like, geez, what if this did happen?
Right.
And there's no phones, there's no internet, there's no TV. What would we do? You know, Ethan Hawke is in it, and I've always thought he's kind of a cool actor. Good. So yeah, it's like I said, interesting story, some cool like moments. And again, makes you think like, geez, this actually really could happen. What would we do? So
that actually sounds like one we'll check out. I mean, it's Netflix. It sounds like it's a perfect thing you're looking for on Netflix, right?
Yeah, fun watch. A couple good actors. So yeah, I'd recommend it.
I've got a few things here, but I'm not going to get to them. I'm just gonna do one, and it's Hard Knocks in season with the Miami Dolphins. I being sick, I've been laying around, so I binge watched that whole thing up to date. It's awesome. It's really good. Mike McDaniel. I knew he was a little different odd duck, but he's definitely an interesting character all the way around, the head coach of the Dolphins. I know you saw it, Jared. I don't know, Matt, have you had a chance to catch any of it?
I've seen a ton of clips, but no, I haven't watched it all.
Yeah, and it's what sucks, man, is you get attached to like this Dolphins team, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's been like my favorite season, maybe even better than the Lions. I mean, when it's actually in season, I mean, it's like how does it compare to the preseason? You know, whether this guy's going to make the team or get cut, like we normally see before the year. And what sucks is you get attached to this Dolphins team as soon as you get attached, like they're on like the biggest slide of all time. Like they're probably going to get outed against the Chiefs in round 1. But McDaniel, it just shows you, man, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. I mean, Dan Campbell and him probably polar opposites, and both are damn good at their job. He's an interesting guy, man, and I love watching him. He's entertaining.
He has an interesting way of thinking, and his whole vocabulary. I mean, it's hard to explain. And the in-season program, this is the first one I've watched in season. It's different, but I like it. You know, it makes me want to watch the Miami Dolphins every week. You know all the characters, and they've been decimated by injuries. That's what's killed them.
Exactly. And I mean, Zach Steeler, Ferris State Bulldog. I know you love that little segment on there. Lived in
he's a stud
in RB for a couple years, like first couple years in the league. I mean, was a walk on at Ferris State. Just a really good season, man, all around.
It is,
and you can never go wrong with HBO and Hard Knocks either.
No, not at all.
The editing is, my God, it's like the little intro. I'm like, wow, this is like the coolest thing. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever watched. With they like flash photos and like blur out it's awesome.
It's so good.